Good evening, my friends. How are you? Welcome to another edition of Wednesday Night Live with me, Mike Avery, here at my home office, my home studio. In fact, we don't have an internet connection right now, so I'm using my phone for everything. I'm using my phone to connect to the internet. I'm using my phone as my camera. Greg, good evening, buddy. How are you? Okay, let's get to some of these. Craig's along with us. Michelle's along with us. Larry's along with us. Eric says cicadas south of Grand Rapids. I heard my first cicadas here at the house yesterday. Now, I realize they've been buzzing all across the state, but I just heard my first one here yesterday. Jeff, good evening. Thank you, Stephen. I appreciate that. Here's the big news. $22,000 plus. We cleared more than $22,000 in the second annual Mike Avery Outdoors Charity Golf Outing. Earlier, I will admit, in my mind, I had set pretty much an unrealistic goal of $30,000. And once we got into it, I thought, what are you thinking, Avery? And that really was unrealistic. But $22,000? Last year, we cleared $10,000. This year, we cleared more than $22,000. We more than doubled our profit from last year, and all of that money goes to the MUCC Youth Camp. So everybody on here who helped out, thank you. I appreciate that. Jim, good evening. Randy, how are you? Mad Jack, thanks for joining me. Linda Barthel. It's your birthday. Linda, it was, first of all, happy birthday. Secondly, how does it feel, Linda, to be 39 years old? I'm just curious. What's it like to be 39? I mean, I was years and years ago, but I know for you, you're just turning 39 now. How does that feel? Linda, after talking with you here on Wednesday Night Live for so many times, it was a real pleasure to meet you at the golf outing. I hope you had a good time. It looks like you were having fun. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for the support. Mike Sills. Good evening, Mike, Michigan Outdoorsman. Finally got his Michigan bear rug back. From the taxidermist Tyler at the back 40, and Gladwin did an amazing job. I'll send you some pictures. Please do. Please do. Stephen said a cold front moving through West Michigan right now. I can tell you right now here in Eastern Michigan, we've had rain for the last couple of hours, and the temperature has dropped about 20 degrees, and it feels good. Jerry's not with us, or Jerry's not fishing. He's with us tonight. Tony, good evening, buddy. How are you? I got a little surprise for you guys tonight. I do not have the prototype Rapid River Mike Avery signature knife in my hands because of shipping problems, but I got the next best thing. Stay tuned. I will show you. Eric says, good evening. Finally getting a break in the weather. Amen, brother. Doesn't that feel good? Thank you, Chris Craner. He says, wow, great contributions this year. Congrats. Yeah, I $22,000 for an afternoon of playing golf. That's what we made, more than $22,000 through golfers, through sponsorships. Isn't that wonderful? And all that money goes to the MUCC Youth Camp. So in 2 years, the youth camp, we have generated $32,000 for the MUCC Youth Camp that did not exist 2 years ago. That money wasn't there. Think of all the good they can do with that. Stephen, can't wait to go to the shoot next week at Multi Lakes for the MUCC Youth Camp. Have fun, guys. Mike Sills says, happy birthday, Linda. Mike says, good morning, Mike. Mike, it's evening, buddy, and thank you for joining us at the golf outing. It was so nice to see you and Jay, and thank you for your generous support, as always. Tim, how are you? Randy Murray, good evening, buddy. Linda says 39. It's just a number. Try 29. Great job on the haul for the outing. Has an absolute blast. It was wonderful to be around so many like-minded individuals with such passion for the outdoors. I want to use that rifle to drive on every hole next year. So do I. So do I. So, Linda, how does it feel to be 29? Tim says he dropped his crossbow off today. Where did you take it, Tim? Mine is at Jay's right now waiting to get picked up. Good evening, Tom. How are you? Uncle Johnny, how you doing, buddy? And Uncle Johnny, if the weather turns around, we're golfing tomorrow, right? Larry says, congrats on creating so much for the MUCC youth camp. Crazy how we can all united, how crazy how all united can come up with so much. Isn't that the truth? Mike says he's been up since 4:30. Okay. I told you for the last couple of weeks that I was waiting for the prototype version of the Mike Avery signature Rapid River knife, with proceeds going to the Outdoor Driven group. Driven is a group that is formed to get vets and first responders in the outdoors to deal with some of the trauma and crap that they've had to face. Chris Durson has made like 3 of these knives now, and he keeps sending them down to me via the U.S. mail. And guess what? None of them are making it. We believe that people are stealing these knives. They come out of the factory and they say Rapid River knife on the label. Right now, Chris has 40 knives in the system that he cannot account for. 40 knives that he has shipped out via United States Postal Service that he can't find, and nobody can find them for him. So he's going to start using UPS. So my knives, and there's been a couple of them, the very first knife Chris ever sent me, and it was a woolly mammoth knife, one of these, like a $600 knife, never made it here. Somebody stole it. So anyway, I had hoped for the last couple of weeks I wanted to have the knife in my hand, and then I wanted to have it at the golf outing. Let me show you something. There is your first look at the prototype version of the Mike Avery signature Rapid River knife, the Uper pocket clip in blood red and burl maple. What do you think? You took it to Northwoods. They'll do a good job. Excellent, Steve. Perfect. Steve says he likes it. What other comments? Emil says sweetness. What do you think? Jerry says sweet. Chris and I went back and forth on this, back and forth and back and forth and back and forth on how we could, what we could come up with. Thank you, Gene. Thank you. Yeah, well, we're UPS now. Everybody likes it. Everybody likes it. Nice looking knife. Eric says a great looking knife. And I mean, it's got my signature on. Okay, so this is, and this red changes. The different light that you put it in makes it look brighter or more blood red or whatever. So let me get rid of that one and show you something else. Now, this is the same knife, okay? And you'll notice on this one, how can I see it? You see where it says limited edition right there on the, do we call that a bezel? What do we call that? Between my signature on the left and the actual handle, it says limited edition 1 of 500. I told Chris that I'd actually like him to shrink that down a little bit where it says limited edition 1 of 500. But that's what we're looking at. That's the knife. That is the knife. Judy says she loves the mountains. I never even thought of it as being mountains. I'll tell you why I went with this color. And again, it looks, I said, Chris, I want blood red. And the red will change depending on the light that you have it in. But I said, I want blood red. Blood red, and again, this is to benefit first responders and veterans. I said, I want blood red. I want blood to signify bloodshed, courage, and commitment. That's what the red indicates. That's what it stands for. Evening, Corey. How are you? Use plain boxes. He's going to start using UPS and just putting RRK on there instead of Rapid River knives. Very cool. You like it? Jordan says he likes it. Jim likes it. Tyler says how much? $225. We're going to sell them for $225. I'm not making a dime on this. Chris is breaking even because the proceeds from the knife are going to the group Outdoor Driven. You will not be able to use the promo code Avery15 on this knife because if we use the promo code Avery15, it knocks 15% off the top of the knife and there is no more profit to give to Outdoor Driven. Mike, when can you order one? I'm thinking probably next Wednesday. It'll be next week. Shipping will start, they'll be shipped out the first week in September. Corey likes it. Jerry likes it. Pre-orders, yeah, we're going to pre-order starting next week, Larry. Here's honestly, here is the logistics of where we are. I like the knife, but I haven't seen it in my hand. I can't give Chris the go-ahead to start production of a knife with my name on it until I get it in my hand and I can see it. He shipped it out this afternoon, UPS priority. I should have it tomorrow or Saturday. Once I get it in my hand, I say, yes, Chris, go ahead. He will join me on the radio show next week and we will kick this thing off. So I suspect pre-orders will start. There we go, stupid Facebook. I suspect pre-orders will start next week with shipping the first week in September. Craig, when I was talking to Chris today, I said, look at Chris, if I had time, I would run up there tomorrow and grab the thing. He said, don't worry about it. I'm shipping it out something other than U.S. Postal Service. I've had it with the United States Postal Service. I can't tell you how many times I've been screwed by the U.S. Postal Service. Linda says, bloodshed, courage, and commitment should be on the other side of the bezel. I like that. I actually like that. I like that. I like that. Let me talk to Chris about that because we do have one side of the knife. Yeah. Yeah. I wonder, that's not a bad idea, Linda, at all. Greg C wants one. Thank you, Mike. So everybody likes it, okay? Mike, did you see it? I want to know what you think, Mike. What do you think of the knife? And here's another version of it. No one knife will be identical because they won't. The handles will all be different. What do you think of it, Mike? UPS is one day regular ground, so maybe I'll have it tomorrow. Yeah, the U.S. Postal Service. I listen. I got a good friend who's a postmaster, and I don't want to diss him, but Well, Jeremy, you can say what you want, honor, courage, commitment, but it's my knife, so I'll decide what descriptors are used. Knife is very impressive, but I like what you're saying, honor, courage, commitment, and I like what Linda's saying. Yeah, there's yeah. I appreciate what all of you are saying, and it makes sense. Honor, courage, commitment. It's blood red, so we probably don't have to say bloodshed. Yeah, because Chris was wondering what we could put on the other side of that knife, and I think you guys just came up with the answer. Beautiful knife, looks great. Knife looks cool. Very elegant. Thank you. Well, listen, I'm glad after all this hype that you guys like it and gals like it, because I'm pretty much committed to it now. I can't go back. I cannot ask Chris Durson to go back to the drawing board and start over again. Good question, Cliff. For collectors, will they be numbered? I talked to Chris about this today. No, because he and his crew can't make these in any kind of bulk, which we do. You know, they're one of a kind and they're handmade, but we're going to make a bunch of them. And Chris said to stop and individually engrave 001, 002, 003 on every knife. He said it's not feasible. So what they will say is 1 of 500, because the knife is 1 of 500. And the next knife will be 1 of 500 because they're all individual. But will they all have the mountain range? Or are you saying each one will have a different theme? They will all have the same theme, Judy, of being blood red acrylic and burl maple. But the individual patterns will vary. You see where the acrylic and the wood meet? No two will be the same. Now, I'm going to bring up another one. You'll see how it's different. So the theme will be the same. Boy, you're right. That does look like mountains, doesn't it? I never even thought of that. It looks exactly like mountains. Stolen ones will be worth a lot. Yeah, really. You are right, Linda. That looks like a mountain range. Never even thought of it. I looked at that. I've looked at that a dozen, well, more than that. Never even thought of that. Good point. You want that one? That one's mine. That one's mine. Oh, I'm so glad you folks like this. So, if we could, you're welcome, Corey. So, listen, next week, look, I know I have asked a lot of you, my friends, with the golf outing, and listen, don't think that I am being too aggressive and I'm begging you because I'm not, okay? But next week, when we kick off the pre orders, if we can get a good solid number of knives going, um, I am confident that it'll be a good seller. But I want to make Chris glad that he bought into this concept too. So next week, when we kick these things off, let's pre order a bunch of them if you don't mind. Ken, I thought you'd like this. Beautiful design and concept. Love the knife. And there's a look at another one very similar to it. Each knife will have my signature on it. You might say that's egotistical, but it's something I want to do. But I do like the idea of putting some words, maybe honor, courage, commitment. If we can fit them on the other side, that's a good idea, folks. Thank you for that. Okay, listen. Can we move on to something else? I think I've beat that horse, but I will come back to it. Believe me. Today I recorded. Yes, and thank you for bringing this up, Ken. There will be room. Okay, you see how the one side on the blade it has my name. Now here's another version of it, and they will all have the. Let's see. I think I've got one. Let me show you something else. Yeah, I can't find it offhand. Okay. Um, Suffice to say, you will be able to get your name or the name of somebody else engraved on the knife as well. Kimmy, how you doing? How's mom today? Um, Last week was interesting for me because I had the golf outing on Friday. I had the Angler Quest Owners Tournament on Saturday. And then I get a call from my brother Saturday night that my mom had to have emergency surgery because she had a ruptured appendix. So went over to the west side of the state on Sunday. And then Monday, I got to have a root canal. It's been a really interesting 4 days. But my brother Tim and my sister-in-law Kimmy are keeping a close eye on my mom. So thank you guys for that. I do certainly appreciate it. Yeah, $22,000 and change on the on the charity, the golf outing charity. That's not bad. In fact, it's wonderful. And on this week's radio show, by the way, I made a post earlier, and I thanked everybody that I could possibly remember and know of that was involved in the outing. I thanked you all in that post. On this weekend's radio show, I also went through and thanked everybody as well. So I'm not going to do that tonight, but just know that I really appreciate everything you folks have done. You were teaching hunter safety last week. Thank you for that, Stephen. Yeah, she's getting better every day. I can feel that. Yep. I have been a busy boy, Mike. I've been a busy boy. Chris, how are things in Kansas? Thank you for that, Larry. I appreciate that. I mean, she's 84 years old. So everything has the potential of being a big thing, and a burst appendix is not a little thing. But she's surprisingly tough. David, how are you, my friend? Nice to have you along on this edition of Wednesday Night Live. So, thank you, Mad Jack. Thank you. At 84, there is no such thing as a speedy recovery, though, is it? Is there? Bill, the new boat is wonderful, although I had a very short season. I got it very, very late. I made the most of it while I could. Then I got jammed up with a golf outing. Now I'm getting ready to go to White River, Ontario on a bear hunt. So my fishing season is pretty much done. I may make it out one more time or so, but it is an absolutely beautiful, gorgeous boat. And guess what? It's for sale. We're going to sell it now. And Bill, okay, Bill Lincoln. I want you all to look at this guy's name right here, Bill Lincoln. Bill is the guy who suggested last year that we have a golf outing here on Wednesday Night Live. And Bill, I don't know if you were along with us, but this most recent outing last week in West Branch, we netted more than $22,000. Along this line, everybody please put Friday, July 31st on your calendar for next year. In fact, block off every last Friday of July from now till the end. That's when it'll be. Stephen, the MUCC East Side Charity Shoot at Multi Lakes is next week, Friday, 9, 11, and 1 o'clock flight times. 125 includes lunch and ammo. Great cause. Have fun, guys. Thank you, Stephen, for the opportunity to promote that. So I recorded the first radio show for August today. I cannot believe that it's August. Does it feel like August to you? I mean, I swear it was just Memorial Weekend, and now it's August. So here's my plea that I've been making all day today and on this weekend's radio show. If you had any plans for the summer that you have not yet been able to accomplish, don't drag your feet, because there's not that much more time. I mean, the kids go back to school in a few weeks now. The grandkids go back to school, and everything changes. So get things done. What did I think of the bigger diameter tubes? I actually have 26s on mine, Eric, as an experiment. Both Brad and I had 26-inch tubes as an experiment because I have the 24-footer this year. I'm sure that they gave me more flotation, more buoyancy, like when I had a bunch of people sitting up front. I'm sure it lifted the front end more. What it does do, though, is that bigger diameter and the extra drag. You wouldn't think it, but it actually knocks down the top end speed. I noticed it on my boat. Brad noticed it on his 26-footer, and he's got a 300 horse. I'm running a 2 1/4. So I suspect, and Brad hasn't confirmed this, but we've talked about it. I suspect the 26-inch tubes will be an option. They will not be standard. I think the standard boat will have a 25-inch tubes. Mad Jack, if you need more hours put in while you go bear hunting, I'd be happy to keep it wet for you. Appreciate that, Mad Jack. Who's on the show this week? I'll get to it. Yes, it is a good sign that she's talking about food. Excellent. Bill, just got back from Duberville fishing by White River. I was up there during the golf. Sorry. Bill, you don't have to be sorry, buddy, because it was your suggestion right here on Wednesday Night Live that started the whole ball rolling. So you can take credit for that. The heat has felt like it's August for sure. Hello, Ed. How are you? Ed, are you just joining me? Did you see this, Ed? Were you here to see it? There's the prototype. That is one version of the prototype. Here's another prototype. I'm showing people because I do not have them in my hands yet because the United States Postal Service has lost so many knives. So Chris is shipping it out UPS. I should have it tomorrow or the next day. Again, pre-orders start next week. The knives will be shipped the first week in September. They started to be shipped in the first week in September. Food plots look good. Have some nice bucks showing up. But as always, they're just small. Yeah, those Kansas bucks. Yeah, I get it, Chris. Chris lives in Kansas, and those Kansas bucks just are not. They're just, they're tiny, right? If I took you in the other room over there, there's a 150-inch 10-point on the wall over there from Kansas. Yeah, their Kansas bucks are really small. Mike, I'll have my Warrior 238 available to fish with me if you want late this summer and the fall. I appreciate that. And I've got a lot of friends like you, Corey, who can get me out fishing. And because I'm not going to be using the boat much, I'm thinking, why not just give it back to Brad? Because I'm just using it. It's not mine. I'm just using it. Why not give it back to Brad and let him sell it and make some money on it rather than just have it sit there at the slip? Hello, Jim. Good evening. So that was your first look at it. You like it, Ed? How many can I put you down for, Ed? 6? Okay. Ed wants 6. Going to start looking for some place to put my standing cameras. Also, a couple of blinds at the end of next month. You look, well, the fact that you're putting up a blind makes me think you're not hunting state land. So you're looking for private land. Good luck to you, Tim. Elmer, how are things in Petoskey? Did the cold front come through up there yet? And is it raining up there? TJ, boy, TJ, don't you hate that? Watching the sunset on Lake Superior. By the way, she said yes when I proposed. That's right. You were proposing, weren't you, TJ? And TJ, if I remember right, too, aren't you my trapper? If those beavers behind the house decide that they're going to do what beavers do and cause damage, you're my guy. Congrats, TJ. I'm so glad that you let us know that and reminded us of that because honestly, I'd forgotten. So thank you so much for that. Okay, cicadas buzzing at the Avery house. They're buzzing all over the state. Does that mean 6 weeks till frost? Does it mean 8 weeks? Does it mean 10? Depends. How long do your records go back? Mine go back probably 25 years. And I'll be honest with you, at first the records were about 6 weeks. But as the weather has changed, now it's closer to 8 weeks, maybe even 10 weeks. Steve, buddy, good evening. How are you? Are you still fishing, Steve, or are you jumping over to the west side of the state after Kings? Yep. I'm your trapper and also the Bobcat Whisperer. Speaking of whisperers, where's Johnny? Where's Johnny tonight? Corey's up in the Keweenaw, and he says air quality is 184. I don't really know what the number means. I understand that that's not good air quality, but I know smoke from the Canadian fires has screwed things up. But I don't know, Corey. What is a good day? If 184 is bad, what is good? 0, 50? I don't have a frame of reference there. Salmon fishing on the west side of the state is hot. Most everybody I know who fishes is going to the west side of the state now, except for me and Tony Wynn. I told you I'm going to a bear hunt, White River, Ontario, Canada, in just a couple of weeks now. In fact, I'll leave 2 weeks from tomorrow now that I think about it. I need to go up to Jay's and get my crossbow, my 10-point crossbow, because I had new cables and strings put on it. And here's a little bit of a advice for you. If you are a crossbow shooter, I know it was expensive because the new crossbows are crazy expensive. My 10-point was ridiculous. And then wasn't I surprised when I found out that you have to put new strings and cables on these things at least once a year. At least. The first year I had it, I was shooting it so much, I had to have the strings and cables replaced twice during the year. And that's like, I don't remember how much it was. It was over $100. But you got to do it because there is so much force. There is so much energy stored in these bows. You can't take a chance. Linda said, I so wanted to win Johnny's brook trout trip. Linda, I know the Bear Whisperer. And if you have your heart set on a brook trout fishing trip, I might be able to make it happen. I might. Not saying I can, but I might know a way to make it happen. Hello, Dean. Good evening. How are you? Emil. By the way, Emil Rousseau of the Lumberjack Lodge, the Lumberjack Resort in West Branch. The Lumberjack was our base of operations for the golf outing. I went up there Thursday, as did both my brother-in-laws, my son-in-law, and the MUCC crew, and we all stayed at the Lumberjack. The remodeled rooms are beautiful, and you know I love the food at the Lumberjack. If you walk away from the table hungry at the Lumberjack, it's your own fault because there's great food and lots of it. So, Emil, nice job on that. Thank you for accommodating us. And I'll tell you right now, Emil, that next year's golf outing is Friday, July 31st. So if you want to put together another package for our golfers, I would thank you for that very much. Dennis, good evening. How are you? You know, Ed, I don't know the answer to that. Ed says no fires in White River this year. I don't know. Rob, are you still on here? Rob Sador? Rob lives in White River, and he was on here earlier, I think. He was on this morning. Rob, do you have any fires in the White River area? Yeah, you can't take a chance with these new crossbows, Mike. Okay, air quality in Midland right now is 115. Well, and our air is getting washed right now by the rain, so it's probably helping out. Um, but the normal air quality is 42. Okay, so one whatever it was is high. I believe that, Tim. 150. I think that's what I paid, close to 150 for cables and strings, and you got to do it. Hey, Angie. Hello, Gus. Gus, I don't know if you heard, but the golf outing that you, Gus, and Angie from Pizza Sam's in Midland helped sponsor by providing a very cool gift package for our raffle. Um, we netted more than $22,000. Now, did we reach my unrealistic goal of 30,000 that after I said it I thought that's too high and again unrealistic, but I'm stuck with it now. I'm going to pray that it happens. No, we didn't. But $22,000. We more than doubled our profits from last year. I think that's huge. I think that's wonderful. I think it's further proof that that event is blessed because it's for a good cause and you guys helped out. Steve, yes, I'd be happy to. Um, but as a way of facilitating this, because my mind right now is spinning as I do this and I often forget things, Stephen, I'm going to ask you, would you send me an email to Mike at MikeAveryOutdoors.com? Please send me an email to Mike at MikeAveryOutdoors.com and we can get that conversation going offline. Mike at MikeAveryOutdoors.com. I'll also give you my cell number, but I'm not giving my cell number out on a live stream right now. Scott Hand, Walleye for Warriors. Excellent, Scott. That is at the party on McCarty doing a Walleye for Warriors night tomorrow night, and it should be nice tomorrow night. Proceeds go directly to our 2026 event. Come on out and support all involved. Thank you, Scott, for that reminder. By the way, Scott Hand was the winner of the first Angler Quest Owners Tournament out of the Linwood Beach Marina 4 years ago, and he darn near won the fourth annual one Saturday. Scott, let me show you something, buddy. If you're just joining us, what do you think of this? That's a prototype. This would be the Mike Avery signature knife to benefit the outdoor driven group to support first responders and vets. Here is another prototype. What do you think, Scott? How many should I put you down for? $225 a piece. That's what we're selling them for. $225 a piece. You cannot use the Avery 15 discount because we have to have profits built on top of this so we can give to outdoor driven. Angie, Gus, thank you so very much. Thank you, Chris. What recipe does Dixie Dave have this week? He has beaver barley soup. And you know why? Because I asked him to do a beaver recipe. You know why? Because I got two beavers on the pond behind the house. And they better behave themselves. Not that I'm going to eat them. Not that I have anything against beaver barley soup, but I'm not going to eat these beavers. But I did it as kind of a joke because I don't own the pond, but I have permission from the owner. And if those beavers start causing damage, we're going to bring in a live trap, TJ, and get rid of them. Now they're fun to watch. I love having beavers back there as long as they behave themselves. Anybody who spent some time around beavers, have they ever behaved themselves, or do they do what beavers do? Big doings coming up at Camp Grayling. Okay. Okay. This is not what I thought it was. John, big doings coming up at Camp Grayling the first 2 weeks of August as the National Strike Force starts with a big military action at Camp Grayling. God bless them all. Exactly. Somebody was on this morning talking about plans to expand Camp Grayling, and they were not happy about it. It is a nice knife, Scott. Can I put you down for 6 of them? You know what we could do, Scott? We could have the Walleye for Warriors logo put on one of them, and you could give it away as a prize next year. Just thinking out of the box. John was talking to somebody at Jay, said it's no joke that they get big requests for bow season already. Big requests. I don't know what you mean by that, John. They get big requests for bow season already. I know that the folks at Jay's really encourage people to come in now and get your bows worked on. Don't wait till the last minute. Who ordered the rain? I would say probably 95% of the people on here tonight and 90% of the people in Michigan ordered the rain. I sure did. Scott says, I'll take one for that price. For you, Scott, $275 out the door. TJ says, I'll take one. Joe says, nice looking knives. I do too, Mike. I do too. In fact, keep in mind, I'll bring it up right now. That limited edition, right? Keep in mind, this is a prototype. This is the first time that this knife has ever been made. And that's the first thing that I told Chris. I think the limited edition is too big. Please make it smaller. So I agree with you completely. But that's why he makes prototype knives and is sending them down to me before I sign off on them. But I agree with you completely. Well, you're not that late. In fact, on this week's show, I talked with Rich Krazan of Killer Food Plots about putting food plots in. Good point, Chris. I've seen two of them. I hope there's not more than two. Good evening, Pastor. How are you? All right, Pastor, I got something I want to show you. You've heard me talk about the Mike Avery signature knife to benefit Outdoor Driven. Here's the first prototype. There's the second prototype. What do you think? Dixie Dave should do a snapping turtle recipe. That's a very good idea. In fact, I'm going to make myself a note right now. That's an excellent, excellent idea. Thank you for that. That's an excellent idea. Let me go back to my messages. Okay. Lots at Selfridge today. Orders on new bows. Okay, so they want people to order them. Okay. Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. How about, okay, good idea on the Walleye for Warriors knife. How about selling tickets in the tent for the knife? Let's do it. Yeah, I don't see a reason not to. Yeah, I mean, if you can buy it for $2.25, yeah, you should be able to make some money on that, Scott. Let's do it. Chris says he'll take two of those knives. And again, the pre-order on those knives, Chris Durson of Rapid River is going to join me on the radio show next week. So actually, maybe I'll have him join me on Wednesday Night Live too. The pre-orders will start sometime next week. You will go to the website, rapidriverknifeworks.com, to order rapidriverknifeworks.com. Joe, I'm answering your question right now. Next week, you go to rapidriverknifeworks.com. You do not order them through me. I do not handle any money. I don't want to be involved in that part of it at all. Chris is handling that. rapidriverknifeworks.com. Pre-orders start next week. The knives will be shipped the first week in September. Can you tell I'm pretty geeked? Can you tell I'm pretty excited about it? And I was getting a little frustrated. I got to be honest. I was getting a little mad, getting a little bit frustrated. Like, why am I not getting these knives? Chris, are you sending them? I know you are. Well, believe me, he's getting frustrated because he's got 40 or 50 knives, he told me right now, that he has shipped out via the U.S. mail that he can't account for. Nobody can find them. Isn't that something? Coming up on this week's Outdoor Magazine radio show. My first guest is helping us get ready for the bow season. His name is Tom Nelson. He's a Michigan guy. Did you know this? That Tom Nelson of the American Archer TV show is a Michigan guy. In fact, he's a hardcore Michigan guy. He helps us get ready for bow season. And we talk about archery in general. Then Tom Campbell of Woods and Water News with a preview of their big outdoor weekend coming up September 5th, 6th, and 7th. In our second hour, Larry Jennings of Jonah Jigs on jigging for Great Lakes salmon and trout. And I'm not just talking about jigging for them at the river mouths or in channels. I'm talking about going out to open water, 150 feet of water, and finding them and jigging for them. Much the same way some anglers on Saginaw Bay are doing with forwards-facing sonar for walleye. They're also doing this for king salmon. Then also in the second hour, Steve Wyndham of MUCC joins me with a wrap-up on the golf outing. Steve is the guy who did the work. I'll tell you that right now. Steve is the guy who put the golf outing together. I had the idea. I promoted it. I put my name on it. I helped with the event. But Steve is the guy who really put it together, and he did a wonderful job. This week's Ask Avery question is a twofer. One of them was a guy sent me an email. He said, I am a first first-time Michigan gun hunter. Do you have any advice? No, I'm an adult and a first-time Michigan deer hunter. Do you have any advice? I said, yeah. My advice is to hell with everybody else. Don't listen to everybody else. Don't listen to the social media influencers. Don't listen to the whitetail experts. My advice to you, this guy who sent me the email, is if you see a legal deer in front of you and you are hunting legally, and I know he will be, and that deer gets you excited and it makes you hyperventilate and it gives you a shot, take it. Don't worry about what anybody else says. Take it and celebrate the harvest. The second question was, because the guy heard me talking on WSTW with Charlie Rood this morning, I was talking about the idiot congressman who put the bill out there that would ban baiting for bears on federal land, and we talked about that, and a guy followed up and he says, hey, I love to bear hunt. Why do we have a lottery system in Michigan? Do you think it'll ever go back to the old days when you can buy a bear tag over the counter? Short answer, no, it's never going back to that. Never going back to that. And in our third hour, as I mentioned earlier, Rich Krazan of Killer Food Plots joins me. Rich talks about putting in food plots. He says, it's not too late. Corey, it's not too late. You still got time. Putting in food plots, the finer points, the subtleties, the nuances, all that good stuff. And then Wild Game Chef Extraordinaire Dixie Dave Miner has a beaver barley soup recipe in honor of the beavers on the back pond. Okay. TJ says he loves Steve Nelson. Tom Nelson. Tom is a great guy. It's just a great guy. Jigging works once you find him. It is a lot of fun. Okay. Have you seen Eric Carlson jigging up Lake Trout Lake? You're right. I have not, Ed, but I know, didn't I have Eric? Yeah, I had Eric on the show before based on your recommendation. Excellent. Steve Wyndham is a great guy. Lori, I'm assuming he has. I don't know that for a fact, but I'm assuming he has taken Hunter Tafey. Scott, took a couple of inquiries today for new AQs for Brad. I have a hunch next year could be a good year, a great year. I think it will be as well. And Scott, don't forget this. My boat's for sale. That 2025 24-footer with a 225 horse Merc on it. I got 40 hours on it. And it's for sale. And I would just as soon sell it and let Brad make some money on it right now because it's just going to sit at the slip now, mostly for me anyway. So let's sell it. Let's sell it. Let's get it out there. Brad gave me a price, rough price. He didn't give me a firm price yet. I'm not going to throw it out here into the universe till it's firmed up. Barbecued beaver, that was excellent. Idea. Michelle, did you send it via email? Oh, there we go. Michelle is saying, hey, why not have a separate golf outing for women? It's a wonderful idea. I took a lot of grief from one lady there. I said, why is there not more here for women? I think that would be a great idea. I would not be... Oh, what is that? Linda sent me. Okay. I'm looking at your email. Linda ends her email. If I'm not golfing, I'm fishing. If I'm not skiing, I'm fishing. If I'm fishing, I'm sleeping. First responder creed. Well, there isn't one single universe that duty, courage, compassion, commitment. Yeah, think about duty, courage, commitment as an option. I do. I like this. I like these ideas a lot. I think these are great ideas, and I will suggest these to Chris. I will recommend them to Chris. And Chris is like, he's like, Mike, this is your knife. Whatever you want on it, we'll do it. So I'm thinking these are good suggestions. I think we should do it. That would be okay, Scott. I mean, I got my use out of it. The short little bit I had, I used it hard. I had a chance to promote it. I had a chance to fish on it. I had a chance to put my thoughts together on the boat, and all of them are positive. If we can sell it and make Brad some money because he's starting up a new company, I'm all for it. Linda would golf in both. I bet you would, Linda. You were so much fun, Linda. It was so nice to meet you in person. So next year, 2026, Friday, July 25th, at the West Branch Country Club. Oh, my every master of the wild, your stories and laughter keep us beguiled. Will be the second annual Mike Avery Outdoors Charity Golf Outing to benefit NUCC's youth camp. The knife. This is the prototype. This is the prototype. These knives will be available for pre-order from the Rapid River Knife Works website next week. They will be shipped the first week in September. That money also goes for a great cause. If you are so inclined, I would love to have you order one of these. It's not something you got to do right now, but if we can kick it off and get a good start, all the better. My name is Mike Avery. This is Wednesday Night Live. My website, MikeAveryOutdoors.com. My email address, Mike@MikeAveryOutdoors.com. Have a great night, my friends.